I wanted to put out a video tonight, but I don't have my iPad, so no face cam for this one. But I actually wanted to make this one mainly because I like this album pretty good. It's not as good as Glaucoma, but Glockaveli does provide what Key Glock is best at. It's definitely on the upper echelon. It's top three Key Glock albums if you don't count the Dumb and Dumber albums, which I don't. Actually, I mean, if you did, this might be it's like top five instead of top three. But this is definitely a good one. I kind of was reading up on it on Genius a little bit. I should probably start doing this more just to get a little bit of more background information from the albums that I don't know. Is that this was an homage to Machiavelli by Tupac, which after saying that, I feel like I should have known that. And I don't know, I feel a little goofy. The cover for this, by the way, is really hard. I love the crown of thorns and the Jesus piece and the Glockaveli chain that is he wears during the rollout for this project, which by the way has lasted probably way longer than he meant for it to last. Because I remember this was supposed to drop back in September of last year, which Genius says that it was specifically on the anniversary of Tupac's passing, which, also ties into the whole name matching the Machiavelli thing. But I didn't know that that was conveniently the same time as the passing. I just knew that's when the album was supposed to drop. I remember when he dropped the single for this, 3 a.m. in Tokyo, which at first listen, I didn't think was that memorable of a Key Glock song. But on the second listen in the album, it's the outro, by the way, it was a lot better. It made me add it to my favorites. I don't know what I had different about this listen than the last listen, but I mean, I thought it was much better. The Grinch came out like a week or two before the album came out, which was another single, and I really liked that one, so I just got a little more excited. And also, Key Glock got a lot of hype after Glaucoma, like the initial week or two of it dropping. It was kind of weird. The album had been out for a while before people were like, oh, wait, this is actually really good. That's whenever at least I noticed a lot of bigger YouTubers and a lot of bigger creators started talking about it. I know that's when Anthony Fantanos talked about it, and I think that's the first time I'd ever seen him talk about someone like this, like Key Glock or like Young Dolph. I don't think he ever talked about Young Dolph. If he did, he hasn't talked about it much, I don't think. This album again goes with the whole no feature rule. I don't remember the last time Key Glock featured anyone that wasn't Young Dolph or a member of Paper Route Empire. It has to be a long time. I do think that this album, it's short in the fact that it's only 45 minutes, but 18 songs, that's a lot of Key Glock. I don't think Glaucoma was that long. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't that long. Glaucoma was like 14, 15, I think. But still, 18, you don't really think it might be that much until you're listening to it and you're like, okay, this is a lot of Key Glock, but that doesn't really drag down the album that much because a lot of these songs are pretty good. I mean, you got Sunny Days. I mentioned the Grinch in 3 a.m. in Tokyo. Cream Soda is a very fun, beat song. The second half, the second, I want to say, last 10 songs, not 10, 8, 9 songs are probably the best stretch of the project. I think Cream Soda, Don Dada, and World Is Ours is a great 3-track run. The animated artwork for this too was awesome, and that was kind of random, but anyway, Badu is a great one. The intro Hallelujah is great with the kind of that sample in it. A lot of really good samples. I think Key Glock is one of the better sample users. And also, I wouldn't necessarily call what he does dominance, but I feel like he has a very specific niche that Key Glock has been synonymous with. Him and Young Dolph were kind of like that. Him and Young Dolph they're definitely famous, and honestly, I would call Key Glock mainstream, honestly. Or at the very least, there's mainstream, and then there's a tier right below that where you're not quite in mainstream, but you're definitely not underground. You're definitely not a tier above underground. You're in the middle. Or you're not even in the middle. So let's just say there's 4 tiers. Mainstream, there's underground, and there's the two in the middle. He's the one above in the two of the middle. That's definitely where I would put Key Glock. It's where I would have put Young Dolph too, but sadly he's passed away. But you know, I'm stuttering, always been a fan of Key Glock. This album is definitely, like I said at the beginning of the video, this is one of his better ones. I do wish we would have got it in September, but it has been a while since another Key Glock project dropped. I know that I talked about the track list being a little too long, but whenever you take an individual song in and out of it, I've noticed that whenever you listen to it by itself, it's kind of weirdly better. I guess because you go from listening to 5 Key Glock songs beforehand to just then listening to it, so you kind of get that rush of hardness, pause, but wow. Anyway, Key Glock is also, he's unique, but he's not unique in this, he's unique in the sense of how he's got popular. There's nothing really unique, not necessarily not unique, because I mean, his kind of chill delivery and his beat uses are pretty unique, but he's never really saying anything crazy. I mean, his lyrics aren't too hard to come up with. He's not saying anything outlandish. He ain't coming up with any amazing lyrics, but I mean, it's kind of cool seeing all the different ways he can talk about flexing, but it's just hard to explain why he's so popular or why he is hit so hard. I mean, it's kind of just a mixture of a bunch of things he's pretty good at. I mean, he's simple. He knows what he's best at making. He doesn't try and do anything too outlandish. He's got nice flows. He's got nice delivery. That's really all he needs to make good music and to make a good album. That's what he did. He made a solid 7.5 out of 10 project anyway. I think Key Glock, if you go from his past records, he has a pretty consistent, at least the albums I've heard, pretty consistent album release dates. Wow, I'm an idiot. Not release dates, album releases. He's got pretty consistent albums in terms of quality. They're all about 6 to 7s to 8s out of 10s. Honestly, that goes for this one. 7.5 out of 10. It's probably a top 5 Key Glock project. I like it pretty good. If you made it to the end of the video, then I greatly appreciate it. If you want to join the Patreon, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. I would actually, if you didn't know this, greatly appreciate it. Yeah, have a good day and I love y'all.